Hi, I'm Stacy Hoppus. My guest today is Barbara Thompson, Town Clerk for the Town of Wallingford. Barbara, thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Stacy.
So we're here today to talk about absentee ballots, the voting process and everything, but let's first talk about your office, the Town Clerk in Town Hall, and the changes to your hours.
Okay, yep. So just last week, we changed our hours from 9 to 5 to 9 to noon, 12 o'clock. We close to the public.
Okay.
So we'd like everybody to try to adhere to that because of the volume of applications we're getting for the November election.
Right.
So all the absentee ballot applications. So far, we've processed about 4,800 applications with still many thousands not processed yet.
Wow.
So it's 9 to noon.
Okay.
We're doing our regular work, which would be land records, vitals, dog licenses, helping the public with whatever they need.
Right.
And then at noon, we're closed to the public and we're just doing election work.
Okay, and we just want to make clear that it's not the whole town hall, it's just the town clerk's office.
Just my office,
right.
right.
And then let's go into the absentee ballot applications. So most people should have received their application so far?
Everybody should have their application by now. So if you're watching this, if you don't have your application, some mishap has happened. You're either not registered to vote maybe, or you've moved, and so you should be downloading your application.
All right, so they can find that on the town website.
Absolutely.
And I know they can also get one at the library.
Right.
And then they could go into your office.
My office.
Okay.
Also.
From 9 to 12.
From 9 to 12.
Okay. And then for the voting process this year, I know that there's some changes because everyone is allowed to vote absentee ballot. Is there a special way that they have to fill out their form or?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is. So the application, the Secretary of State changed the application by an executive order from the governor, so that COVID-19, we are not a mail only absentee ballot state. We are an excuse. We have 6 excuses traditionally, and so by executive order we added a 7th excuse. COVID-19 being the 7th excuse, which will not be for next year unless COVID is still here. And he'll have to go and do another executive order for next year. So if you do want to use the COVID excuse, it's at the top of the application. And all you have to do is check it and then sign your name and date it. If the application was sent to you, it already has imprinted on the top your name and your address.
Wonderful.
And then that's all you need to do.
Okay. And ways that they can submit their application for their ballots, they can mail them in. What are some other ways that they can do that?
So it comes to them, if they received it from the Secretary of State, it comes with a prepaid, postage paid envelope, so they don't need to put postage on it.
Perfect.
They can put it right back in the mailbox for their mailman to pick it up. And here in Wallingford, the mail is not getting processed out of town. So have faith in the USPS within the town. It's not going out of town. It gets processed in the mail processing center right over, is it Research Parkway or someplace right over here, and then comes right here to the Wallingford, across the street from our office, and then to us. So it takes very little time to get to us.
You should be getting it within 2 days.
So have faith in that, please. Or please use the drop boxes. I know the drop box says ballots only, but they are intended for applications, and we really want you to use the drop box for the application. It does cut down on the foot traffic in the town clerk's office. You can bring it into the office, but we're really looking to keep the foot traffic out of the office.
And now if they brought their application into their office, they're not getting their ballot right away. They're just handing in their application, correct?
So right now we're not looking to have people voting at the counter. We're going to mail you your ballot. The only time we'll be doing voting at the counter is closer to election day. We won't be doing it right now.
So right now, hand them in, you'll leave, we'll mail you your actual ballot.
Yes.
And then where are some of the locations that the drop boxes are?
So, yes, the infamous where are the Dropbox questions is a bit of controversy. But there is one right at the front stairs of the outside of the town hall.
Right.
Then when you pull into the Prince Street parking lot, we have that brick carriage house.
Yep.
So there's one right there, which is a little more handicap accessible. Some people actually are able to swing their car so close they don't even get out. They use the window and then drop it in the slot.
Right, just like going to the mailbox on the,
Kind of,
the
yes.
road. Right.
And then I did want to put one outside of my office, and so we had 2 extras delivered to us 2 weeks ago. So there's one right outside my office if you're more comfortable coming into the building.
Right.
So before you come into my office, to the left of my door is one where we will be setting up some voting booths for when we get closer to the election day, about 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
If you're running out of time, you can come in, we'll prepare your ballot, then you go in the hallway and vote. And then you would drop it in the drop box in the hallway.
Oh, very nice.
We need to keep foot traffic out of the office.
Yeah, absolutely.
We only allowed 4 people at a time in my office.
Okay.
And then the 4th box is at the senior center.
Okay.
Well lit. It's a nice spot. It's closer to the west side of town.
Right.
It's not on the west side of town, but it was very hard to come up with a location that would be on the west side of town.
Right.
That was not a school, and the schools were not ideal locations because of all the parents bringing their children to school.
Absolutely.
And the backup of all the cars would be very hard for voters to access.
And just having people going there during school hours is, it doesn't
just
make
wasn't
the most
a good
sense.
idea.
Right.
So that's where our drop boxes are.
Okay. And then how often are you guys checking the drop boxes right now during the application process?
So we check them probably 2 to 3 times a day.
Okay.
So once it becomes ballots, we'll actually do more often.
Every couple hours or so.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And then for the actual ballots, once you receive them, you do the same exact process. Bring them to the drop boxes. Is there anything different? When should people start receiving their ballots?
Okay, so the ballots are all in my office. We have the ballots, and we're stuffing them as we speak.
Okay.
It's quite a tedious job. The ballots by statute will go out in the mail on Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll probably be bringing 6,000 or more ballots over to the post office Friday.
Just on Friday.
Afternoon. So the first round will go out Friday, and folks can expect to receive that ballot probably Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So they can return it again by the USPS,
Yep.
by the drop box,
Yep.
or very last would be to drop it in our office, but we're really not encouraging them to bring it to our office.
Right. Especially you have the drop boxes right there.
Right.
You're checking them multiple times a day.
Correct.
Just put them in the drop
Plus,
box.
if you bring it to my office and it's not yours,
Yeah.
you specifically have to be related to the person in order for me to accept it. Otherwise, I cannot.
Okay. And then I know on our website we have the application. We also have a voter tool lookup. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's it's a great tool. The voter tool lookup, you can track your application and then your ballot all the way through. So we're encouraging voters to do that because we're getting a lot of inquiries of, have you received my application? Have you processed my application?
Right.
And we don't have time when we have thousands and thousands of them.
Right.
So we're sending people to that. So if you just go to the front page of the Town of Wallingford's website,
Right.
and then scroll down to news and announcements, or go on the Town Clerk's page. They're on
Right.
both spots.
Yep.
The voter lookup tool, very easy to use. You just put in your own information,
Right.
and it will show you that what date your application was processed.
Oh, wow.
And then say you get your ballot next week and you put it in the mail,
Right.
maybe give it 4 or 5 days, you could go back in and you could see, oh, they logged it in, or
Right.
they haven't logged it in. You can continue to track it.
Wonderful. And
it's
I
a great
know
tool.
I went on the tool the other day to look up my registration status and to find out where my polls are.
Right.
So if people aren't sure if they're registered, they're not sure what party they're registered
That's
under, and
right.
it has that information too.
Right, and it tells you where your poll is because the
Right.
polls are open.
Okay. So polls will be open. If you don't remember where your polling is, go on the voter
Voter
tool,
lookup tool.
and you'll be able to find that information.
Absolutely.
Now, are you guys looking for any volunteers for the polls or anything like that, or?
So I have right now for my office, I have 4 great ladies that have volunteered, and they're coming in almost on a daily basis with helping us with all the really materials to put in the ballots. I mean, just think about opening all these things.
Right.
You have to open the mail. We have to take it out. We have to actually alphabetize all the applications. That's an awful lot of work.
Right.
So they're helping us with doing that.
Right.
I've been lucky that I've stolen 2 employees out of 2 other departments.
Okay.
So they're helping us.
Yeah.
So things are flowing now.
Good.
It really seems like things are going. Now for the polls, that's the registrar of voters.
Okay.
So they have to work at staffing the polls.
Okay.
I think they're pretty okay.
Yeah.
But if anybody is interested in working on Election Day for the whole day, they should call the registrar of voters and inquire about that, because I'm sure they're always looking for extra people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, there's also myvotect.gov. That's another website that people are able to go on to find out all the information that we've talked about today.
Right.
Correct. So we'll make sure that we put that on the screen. And then also, if people are interested in finding out more information, or if they have any questions, they can call your office.
Absolutely.
And do you know your office's number?
Yes. It's 203-294-2145.
Wonderful. And you're located in room 108.
We're 108.
All right. And just to go back through a couple of the things that we've talked about so that people aren't confused, because it's a lot of information. Right now, if you have your applications, fill them out, get them in.
Right away.
And then what was the date again that you're going to start sending out ballots?
We're going to start sending the ballots out this Friday, October 2nd.
Okay.
So the sooner we can get your application, the better for us. I'll be very honest with you. And I know there are people out there that aren't sure if they want to do absentee or go to the polls. You know, it's not upsetting to us if you want to get your ballot.
Right.
If you don't use your ballot and you decide you want to go to the polls, you can just destroy your ballot.
Okay.
And the voter list will not show that you've received a ballot until it's returned.
Okay.
So there's no chance in you not being able to vote at the polls.
Right.
If you have a ballot in your possession, you can just rip it up.
Yeah.
We will just show we issued it, but we won't show that we've gotten it returned.
Right.
And you can still go to the polls if you wanted to kind of gauge how things were going.
Right. And just so that other voters are aware that when you do receive your ballots and receive your applications, there is a list so that people cannot also go to the polls. Maybe they forgot they mailed it in and they show up at the polls. You're checking lists and you have all of those things.
Correct. So when the ballot comes back to us, it's logged into the Connecticut voter registration system.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you can double vote.
Right.
It's logged in now that we've received your absentee ballot.
Absolutely.
And basically you voted. That vote won't be opened until Election Day.
Right.
And then put through the machine, which will happen on Election Day or a few days after.
Right. And how many days are you guys thinking it's going to take to count the votes this year?
So already the governor has allowed an extra 4 days to count the absentee ballots.
Okay.
And the final results are not due until Monday, November 9th.
Monday, November 9th. So that's the day to look forward to.
Correct.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. There's been so much information, but I think that it was a good clarification for the town and just to know what the process is.
Good. I'm glad I could be of help.
Yes, thank you. Is there anything else that you might want to...
I think I just wanted to add for folks that maybe aren't registered to vote, that Tuesday, October 27th, 1 week prior to the election, is your last day to register to vote, either in person or postmarked by the mail.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
So get that in.
Yes.
All right. Thank you again for coming.
Okay.
Once again, I'm Stacy Hoppus, and I'll see you around town.